Hi, I'm Rashmi from Just Tutors, and today we are going to learn more about atom and molecules. In this lesson here we have two subtopics, chemical formula and molecular mass and mole concept. Before going further, we have a little pre-assessment for you. In this assessment we have some sentences which you have to judge either they are true or false. Please make sure you complete all these questions before moving ahead, as completing these questions will give you better understanding about the lesson here. Proceeding further, the first thing that we are going to discuss is valency. So valency gives us the idea about combining capacity of any element. It can be assumed as arms of an element. So this is a really good analogy has been given to us, that valency can be understood as an arms of an element. So here we have a picture of a molecule which have many atoms or elements joined together. They are joining with these arms here, and these arms will tells you about the valency. Proceeding further, and we have rules for writing chemical formula. The charge of combining ion must balance. If a compound has metals as well as non-metal, then metal symbols are written first. So this is an important thing we have to remember while writing a chemical formula, that metals will be written first and then non-metal will come. So we have an example, that sodium chloride, where we have two compounds, sodium and chlorine. Similarly, we have calcium oxide, where we have two elements, calcium and oxygen. If the compound has polyatomic ion, then we have to write the ion in the bracket before writing the ratio between the joining atom. If we talk about the term polyatomic ion, it's a group of two or more ions that bonded together and perform as an ion. As we have learned that ions are the negatively charged particle, it can be negative and positive. Depends on the transfer of the electron from one atom to another. Then we write the ion in the bracket before writing the ratio between the joining atom. Here we have one example, NH4 to SO4. Proceeding further, and this slide talks about how to write a chemical formula. In the first example, we have a formula of sodium chloride. In writing a formula, we write the elements separately and then we write their valencies underneath and then we cross over them, and that gives us the formula. So here we have written sodium and chlorine separately. Underneath we have written their valency, and when we cross over, they both have one atom. So altogether it becomes a formula NaCl. Similarly with calcium hydroxide, underneath of calcium we have two valencies and hydrogen oxide OH. It has one valency, and when we cross over their valency it becomes CaOH whole twice, or calcium hydroxide. Proceeding further, and this topic is about molecular mass, or we can also say atomic mass. The concept of atomic mass can be used to find out molecular mass of any substance. The molecule mass can be obtained by adding the atomic masses of the atoms in a molecule. As we know that when two or more atoms or elements combine together, they made a molecule. So as we know that every atom has their separate mass, that termed as atomic mass. Here we are. So for finding the molecular mass, we should know that what are the atoms or elements are combining to make that molecule. Here in this example we have carbon dioxide, where one atom of carbon and two of oxygen. So atomic mass of carbon is 12, atomic mass of oxygen is 16, as we have two molecules, so that will become 2 times 16, which is 32. And when you add them together, that would become 44 molecular mass. I hope the example is clear for you. If you are still getting confusion, you can have some more example like H2O, NH3 and many more. Proceeding further, this slide talks about more in molecular mass. We have another example, H2O, where the hydrogen having the atomic mass as 1, atomic mass of oxygen is 16. We have 2 molecules of hydrogen, so that will become 1 times 2 plus 16. 1 times 2 is 2 and adding 16 will make it 18. So molecular mass of H2O is 18 unit. Proceeding further, this slide talks about a very important concept in respect of chemical formula, which called mole concept. 1 mole is one of the basic SI unit for measurement. It is used for the measurement of mass of any substance or particle. So basically mole is an SI unit of mass of any substance or particle. Number of particles available in 1 mole of any substance is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the power 23. So that's the fixed amount. So the number of particles available in 1 mole is equals to this. So you have to recall it because we are going to use it while finding the mass of different particles or different atoms or molecules. This number is termed as Avogadro number. That's another important keyword, that this number is termed as Avogadro number and sometime Avogadro concept as well, and it is represented as NO. 1 mole of any substance is equal to its atomic or molecular mass, and when we are needed to find number of moles, we can use the formula that given mass dividing by molecular mass, N equals to M over capital M, where capital M represent molecular mass and small m represent the given mass. And there is one more formula, that given number of particles over Avogadro numbers. So if particles are given, you know the Avogadro number. By using this, you can also find the number of moles. Here we have one example in which find out the mass of the 6.022 10 to the power 23 number of oxygen molecule and 0.5 mole of oxygen gas. So the number of particles are 6.022 times 10 to the power 23. We can use the formula here that N is equals to N over NO, where N is the number of particles and N0 is the Avogadro number. As both of they are same, so we will get N equals to 1, and then we will be using the N equals to M, where M is the given mass and capital M is the molecular mass. And so first we need to find the mass as it is asked in the question. So we know that number of moles is 1, so that will become 1 times 32, which is the molecular mass of oxygen, O2. So the mass you would get 32 grams. And here we have been given the number of moles, that is 0.5 mole of oxygen gas. So we will multiply 0.5 with 32, and that gives us 16 gram, the mass of these particles. I hope you get this example. If you want to clear more with the same, please try to go with similar examples and keep practicing with these questions, so you would have a good understanding about finding the molecular mass or masses of the different particles and molecule. Next slide talks about more in mole concept. So go with this diagram in detail and you would have a more understanding about mole concept. We are talking about 1 mole of carbon atom, 1 mole of hydrogen atom, 1 mole of any particle and 1 mole of molecule. So we have the different uh, different values of the particles and the amount here. Now this slide is all about the practice, so do make sure you complete all the questions before finishing this video, and if you're finding any difficulty you can get back to the video and understand the topic one more time. Thank you for watching this video. For more, please visit justtutors.com.